Introduction of Real Tanka, Part 1. A Modular Tanka, an example of Japanese tanka enabling parallel translation into English verse, or even another Japanese tanka with relatively high fidelity in sound and meaning. In 57577 Japanese syllables. 犬は犬、人は人とは知りながら、犬の犬よの、人は人かは。犬 noun, a dog, は postpositional particle, subject, 犬 noun, a dog. A dog is a dog. 人 noun, a man, human being, は postpositional particle, subject, 人 noun, a man, human being. A man is a man. と postpositional particle, object, は postpositional particle, emphatic, 知り verb, know, be aware, ながら postpositional particle, concession, although, despite ing, that much I know, but. 犬 noun, a dog, no postpositional particle, subject, in, verb, exist, be, nu, auxiliary verb, negative, not, yo, noun, a word, life, no postpositional particle, situation, where, in the case of, in a world where there's no dog. 人 noun, a man, human being, は postpositional particle, subject, 人 noun, a man, human being, かは postpositional particle, rhetorical question, is it? Can a man be still a man? In 57577 English words, a dog is a dog, a man is a man, oh yeah, that much I know, but in a world where there's no dog, can a man be still a man? A Japanese tanka's modular unit equals letter and syllable. An English tanka's modular unit equals word. As you can see in the preceding explanation and translation part, literal translations of the original Japanese poem in 57577 letters fit comfortably into English verse in 57577 word format. Just like well-designed industrial products, the rhyme above can change itself into another piece of work simply by changing part of its modules. The module, in this case, is a letter and syllable in Japanese tanka, as opposed to a word in English translation. In Japanese kana writing system, a single letter corresponds to a single syllable. So long as the number of letters and syllables are right, this type of modular tanka can modulate itself into various different poems. Let's try remodeling by changing the two-syllabled word inu, dog, into another two-syllabled term neko, cat, and see how it sounds, or should I say, how it barks or meows. A. From dog to cat. From inu to neko. 猫は猫、人は人とは知りながら、猫の犬よの、人は人かは。A cat is a cat, a man is a man, oh yeah, that much I know, but In a world where there's no cat, can a man be still a man? Yes, it sounds just right. Unless, of course, you're a die-hard cat hater. Or because a number of letters and syllables are the same and unchanged. The same can also be said about its English translation, because the word length and syllabic rhythm of cat is no different from dog. A world without cats and dogs may not seem so desolate to some people. But what about a world for men without women, or women without men? Let's try changing the original term dog into woman. No offense, ladies. A man is still a man in a new rhyme that stands not for humanity as a whole, but for an opposite sex of a woman. B. From dog to woman. From man, human, to man, male. A woman is a woman. A man is a man. Oh yeah, that much I know, but in a world where there's no woman, can a man be still a man? Oh yeah, that sounds bad enough, and as good enough as a poem as the previous two ones. But how about its Japanese counterpart? Does a Japanese man or woman equally feel bad in a world without opposite sex? Let's see how the poem sounds after changing inu, two-letter syllable dog, to onna, three-letter syllable woman, and hito, two-letter syllable human, to otoko, three-letter syllable male. Here it is. Se, inu, to onna. Hito, to otoko. Onna wa onna, otoko wa otoko to wa shiri nagara, onna no inu yo no, otoko wa otoko kawa. Oops, flop. It fell flat. It doesn't sound like a poem. It even sounds horrid as prose too. All because it goes against the golden rule of Japanese rhythmic pattern of 5-7 or 7-5 syllables. A 7-9-5-8-9 streak of letters just doesn't sound right in Japanese, be it verse or prose. Just changing a pair of two-syllabled terms, inu, hito, into three-syllabled ones, onna, otoko, makes this difference. In Japanese, the number of syllables, not words, makes difference. And syllabic numbers in Japanese sentences have a magical tendency to fall comfortably into shichi, 7, or go, 5, taking evasive actions from 4, 6, 8, or 9. Strange, isn't it? But it's true. So true that even elementary school kids can make concoctions of 5-7-5 Japanese letters, meaning every speaker of Japanese can automatically purport to be a haiku poet of 5-7-5, if not a tanka creator of 5-7-5-7-7. So powerful is Japanese syllabic tendency to fall rhythmically into shichi, 7, go, 5 patterns that the pair was molded into a phrase shichi-go-cho, 7-5 rhythmic pattern, into which all Japanese, especially when feeling pedantic, romantic, or academic, naturally wants to flow. Foreign people should remember this Japanese syllabic tendency by reciting go, city, go. Go, 5, city, 7, go, 5. That's the way to go for all would-be haiku poets, although there's still some more distance left for tanka creators to tread. English indifference to individual words in the greater stream of a whole sentence. Now that we've found that syllables or kana letters count in Japanese tanka, let us check if words as opposed to syllables or letters also count so much in its English counterpart by cutting down the two-word pair of a dog and a man into single others and I, or myself, and see how the rhyme sounds afterwards. Does it sound as stupidly out of tune as in the previous Japanese alteration? D. A dog to others. A man to I, or myself. As are others, I am myself, oh yeah, that much I know, but in a world where there's no others, can I be still myself? Well, what do you think? Aside from the unthinkability of a world where there's no one but yourself, does the altered English poem of 3-5-5-7-5 word composition sound as stupid as the 7-9-5-8-9 syllabled Japanese tanka? Definitely not. When a two-word module of a dog is reduced to a single word others, the total number of words reduced in the first phrase will amount to 2, thereby curtailing the original 5-word composition down to 3. This should sound so stupidly curt in syllable-based Japanese tanka, but not at all in English verse, because in English, it is not the number of syllables or letters, and not even words, that really counts. What matters in English verse is not so much individual terms as the overall ensemble of words in poetic streams. Just pronounce a dog and others and see how similar they sound. In sound, not in actual value, I tell you. In poetic contexts, a dog and others are phonetically equal. On the other hand, the reduction of a man to I is a little too much in sound and awkward in meaning, making it necessary to say myself instead of I at 2 points. Still, the resulting phrases of I am myself and can I be still myself are not so hopelessly distant from the original a man is a man and can a man be still a man? Why is it so? It's because any given English clause or phrase has its own proper size of pronunciation span, which is hardly influenced by the number of words included, but rather changes the speed at which individual words are pronounced to make the total pronunciation span within proper range. If a clause or phrase includes too many words, the time spent pronouncing each word will be cut down and uttered that much quicker. If the number of words composing a clause or phrase is relatively small, more time will be leisurely assigned to each word, resulting in a rather slow pace of pronunciation. In English, the length of time for pronouncing a clause or phrase is determined by the clause or phrase itself, not by the number of words included therein. On the other hand, the length of time for pronouncing a Japanese clause or phrase is determined by the number of letters and syllables that compose it. If too many, it will be accordingly prolonged phonetically. If too few, it will be felt to fall flat abruptly. By literary analogy, you could associate Procrustes' bed with the total time spent pronouncing a whole English clause or phrase. It does not change its own size, but will try to prolong or cut down the words included to fit into the total time range. Japanese language is far from such phonetic flexibility. Each and every letter or syllable demands equal amount of time for its pronunciation, resulting in a totally flat stream of relatively stress-free voices. That's the fundamental reason for the difficulty the Japanese find in properly speaking English. Being too busy pronouncing each and every detail of individual words, they just can't ride on the English sentence streams, ending up in something alien from natural English, not unlike computer-synthesized voices in old sci-fi movies. Since syllables and words are totally different, Japanese to English translation of Tanka should not be restricted by 57577 format. Have I made my message clear? East is east, west is west. They go their separate ways, at least in their respective poetic uniqueness. An English verse just ride on the stream of a total line, ignoring how many words it contains. A deliberately composed streak of 57577 word would be phonetically meaningless in English and fundamentally alien from Japanese 57577 syllabled tanka. If you try composing an English poem at all, never count words, but try to make rhymes and lines count. Except as an intellectual obstacle race, 57577 word format is sheer nonsense. It only makes sense as a number of Japanese letters and syllables, not as English words. And if you want to appreciate the true meaning and charm of Japanese tanka, you should delve into the sound, terms, grammar, and background knowledge of Heianese Japanese, more than a millennium old, with which few Japanese nowadays are sufficiently acquainted to tell you how. I'm one of the few intent on telling you how to appreciate them as directly as possible, by way of English, without the trouble of having to master Japanese, modern or ancient. Should you be sufficiently interested, try reciting the archaic lines of Japanese in as flat an intonation as you possibly can, in order to pay homage to each and every letter of Japanese kana. As with anything Japanese, details count so much in tanka. You'll be surprised how much is expressed by how few words in how complicated fashion. A modular system degrades itself in duplication. This example tanka of mine is a rare exception which enabled straight translation into English and can be equally relished either in Japanese or English, and can even be reduplicated by simply changing modules to pretend to be another piece of work. Such easily translatable tanka is quite rare to find, but it has to be admitted that most Japanese tanka are more or less products of simple module changes. With the exception of the works made in Japanese tanka's burgeoning years, circa 900, as years went by, it became harder and harder to find uniquely original tanka with authentic creativity. This is quite natural in view of the following facts. Fact 1. The 31-letter syllable word of tanka is so small that you can hardly go around without meeting something already too familiar. Fact 2. The 31-letter syllable tanka is so easy to concoct that practically every nobleman and woman in ancient Japan was required to produce it on so many occasions. So much so that they so often had to rely upon modular duplication of something they were familiar with. Fact 3. Duplicated tanka with modular units borrowed from something else calls for the knowledge of the original poem not only on the part of the imitator, but also out of the hearer-reader, with the result that the joy of discovering something famous in such copy work became a major factor in poetic appreciation of Japanese tanka. Fact 4. Japanese national tendency makes much more of conformity to something traditional, familiar, and common, rather than something totally unique, novel, individual, or peerlessly excellent. Endless or even shameless duplication, reduplication, and multiplication of easily copied modular system products are the undeniable hallmark of the present-day Japan. Look around you in Japan, and you'll find yourself assaulted by waves after vomiting waves of the same old face, same old voice, same old goods, mindlessly replayed phrases by swarms of bandwagon jumpers, not unlike the eerily characterless hive of the Borg drones in Star Trek universe. But don't be afraid. Such faceless products of modular system poetry, of course, are not to the taste of this discriminating author, Jungo Noto, and will not be shown you, except as horrid examples of Japanese conformity.